Hello there and welcome to my new video. So we're on week 2, day 3. So it's Sunday the 16th of March 2025. So starting off with the board jumps. Last week I think I went up to 63 inches or 5 feet 3 inches. So for this accumulation, strength building phase, off-season phase, whatever you want to call it, my focus at the moment is just trying to get better and slowly build strength and improve on my performances little by little every week. So final jump 5 feet 7, 1.7 meters. All I've got to do is break the line and I've got my feet on there completely, so that's all good. Okay, so first main exercise, axial bar clean and push press. So again, I'm going to be doing this for EMOM. For those who don't know, EMOM is basically every minute on the minute. So I lift 1 rep every minute on the minute. This is just a warm up at the moment at 60 kilos or 132 pounds. So because this is week 2, I'm basically just repeating what I did last week, but with more weight. So last week for the EMOM sets, the goal was to do 20 minutes at 91 kilos or 200 pounds, and I did that quite easily. So 91 kilos or 200 pounds was my weight last week. This week I've now moved up to 100 kilos or 220 pounds. So warm-ups with 60 kilos, 80 kilos. This is the last warm-up with 90 kilos or 198 pounds. Okay, EMOM sets. Rest times have been edited out. Otherwise it'll end up being a very long video. It's going to be long enough as it is. Okay, 100 kilos, set number 1. So this weight will stay the same now for 15 sets. Last week I did 1 rep every minute on the minute for 20 minutes. So this time I've dropped the time down from 20 minutes down to 15 minutes, but I've increased the weight. So instead of 20 minutes, I've only got to do 15. So 15 sets of 100 kilos. These first couple of sets were actually quite sluggish, actually. They felt a little bit harder than they should have been. But once I got going, it did actually get easier. Sometimes with these EMOM sets, sometimes they actually feel better and get easier as you go further on. Sometimes with me it takes me a little bit a while to get the old motor running, but like I say, once I get in my stride on, it's not too bad. So set number 4. So because I'm doing every minute on the minute, it normally takes about 15 to 20 seconds just to set up and then lift the weight and then place it back to make sure it's ready for the next set. So my rest time is probably only about 40 seconds roughly. So endurance is built as well because I'm barely resting. By the time I sit down, catch my breath, sip a bit of water or a bit of Lucozade and collect myself, it's basically time to get up and get going again. Sometimes these EMOM sets can be quite hard going, but I really like them. It's a really good way to practice lots of singles and get lots of quality work in a very short amount of time. As it's a Sunday, the gym closes at 4 o'clock, so I always try and be done long before then if I can really. So set number 7. I am only wearing a belt. I'm not wearing any wrist wraps or elbow sleeves. I probably might start wearing them as the weight gets higher. Set number 8. So we're just over halfway through now. And yeah, this is still feeling good. This actually felt good. Once I got past the first 3 or 4 sets, this actually felt quite easy after that. I did do all my warm-ups before I started. 5 minutes on the bike, 25-30 second planks, 30-second bird dogs, and then I did some movement prep basically to prepare me for lifting overhead. Did some face pulls with a band, and something called threading the needle, which is basically where you put a foam roller up against a wall, and then you basically raise your elbows and arms that are above your head. So I like to do little different types of movement prep depending on what exercises I'm going to be doing that day. So for deadlift days, my movement prep is going to be slightly different to what I would do if I was doing an overhead day. So number 11, this was feeling good, and I was feeling good as well, knowing I only had 4 more to go, and these were still comfortable. I think for next week, I think I drop down to 12 minutes, so I'll be dropping 3 sets off of this. But again, I will be increasing the weight, so it'll be interesting to see what I can do when I get to the end of this. I've programmed this into my 8-week block, so that hopefully on week 8 I'll still be doing, well, it won't be EMOM, I think at that point I'll be on every other minute or something, but hopefully I'll be moving a decent weight. Set 13 in. Yes, so easy now. This is really getting good. Number 14. Just using my fingers there just so I can remember what set I'm on, as I don't have a clapper board. Thinking of getting one. I did have one actually, but it's difficult to wipe the ink off it once you've used it once. I need to get one of them that you can wipe it off and then use it again and again. Set number 15, and yeah, so easy. So that's where it should have ended, but I was feeling really good, so I thought I would do the same this week as I did last week and just add 5 kilos onto every set from here on out, and yeah, just basically see how far I could go. Because I'm changing the weight, I need to be able to do this very quickly, and this probably takes off another 5 or 10 seconds of my time. So with these, I'm only getting about 30 seconds rest, if that, although it only feels like 10. So set number 16, 105 kilos or 231 pounds. Nice and easy. I need to watch my balance though, my balance is still rubbish. Need to sort that out. So quickly shoving these 5s on each side. Going to make it up to 110 kilos now. When I did this last week, my main sets were 91 kilos or 200 pounds, and then I added 5 kilos after that, and I wound up doing 116 kilos. So I thought, well, I wonder if I can do more than that. I mean, in theory, it should be easier because I'm only doing less sets, but then it'll be harder because I've not been doing sets of 91. I've been doing sets of 100, so it still probably works out to more work than what I did last week. And obviously, being 9 kilos heavy, it's going to be more fatiguing as well. But yeah, I carried on after that. 110 moved all right. So set number 18, we're at 115 kilos or 254 pounds. Just over 18 stone old money. And yeah, that felt a little bit harder, but I knew that I could go higher. I did feel though that if I went to 120, that was probably going to be my last. But that's okay though. It still beats what I did last week. And I'm quite pleased actually, because I think to myself, you know, if I can get 120 in a fatigue state after doing 18 previous sets, then that holds me in good stead for what's to come in the coming weeks. 120 or 265 pounds. Considering my max is 133, that's only 13 kilos off my max, and to do that in a fatigue state, I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, I knew I probably weren't going to get more than that, but so I finished on 120, but I was happy with that. So yeah, definitely going to be doing more weight on that next week. Probably 105, 107, and that'll be for 12 minutes. So I'll be dropping 3 minutes, but increasing the weight. Okay, so moving on now to close grip board press. So this is just the linear pyramid really, where I'm doing So I do a warm-up set, 40 kilos for 6, and then I just do 3 sets, 15 reps, 12 reps and 10 reps. I did this last week, so I'm repeating the same rep cycle that I did last week, but just with more weight. So last week I did 15, 12, 10, and today I'm doing 15, 12, 10. Just with more weight. So this is 90 for 12. I think last week I did 80 kilos with this rep range. And then this is the third and final set. So last week I believe I did 100 kilos for 10. So I've increased by 10 kilos this week. So 110 kilos or 243 for 10 reps. Next week, so with these I basically keep the reps the same for 2 weeks, but try to increase the weight a little bit. So for week number 3, so next week I will be dropping the reps on these. It will still be linear pyramid fashion. It's going to be like that for the whole 8 weeks. But I will be dropping the reps. So I think next week it'll be, instead of 15, 12, 10, it will be 12, 10 and 8, I believe. So moving on now to the seated axle press behind the neck with no back support. This is a very difficult exercise. It may not look like a lot. You know, you probably look at this thinking, oh, that's lightweight. I was banging into that metal bit, but I managed to get the 8 reps, so I've removed that, so it was a lot easier. So 52.5 kilos now, or 115 pounds. And I mean, you probably look at this thinking, oh, that's not a lot of weight, and it isn't. But this exercise is a lot harder than it looks, because you're pressing behind the neck, using an axle bar and no back support. So this is actually quite hard. But when I move to a barbell and when I use a proper seat and with back support, hopefully the poundages should be so much more that I'll be using. But again, like I say, this is an off season, so I'm just using different exercises to make a harder variation, and hopefully this will set me up for when I peak and use a barbell. It should be so much easier. So yeah, 62.5 for 8, so really happy with that. I think I'm dropping to 6s on that next week. So now some shoulder stability work, IYT ways. Last week I did 8s, so we've dropped to 7s. I actually did 3 sets of 7. The first 2 sets was 5 kilos, and the third and final set I used a 6 kilo dumbbell in each hand for 7 reps, but I've only filmed this first set. This is basically the boring part of the workout, but it's all what needs to be done. So as it's so boring, I thought I'll just film, instead of filming 3 sets, I thought I'll just film this first set, because otherwise, I'll say this video is just going to end up being too long. Next, close grip Swiss bar overhead triceps extensions. This was a lot better than I managed to accomplish last week. So last week was supposed to be 3 sets of 12, but I believe on the third set, instead of 12 reps, I only managed 11. So we've dropped the reps this week. So last week it was 3 sets of 12. We've now dropped to 3 sets of 10. So last week I went up to 42 kilos. Supposed to be 12, but I only managed 11. So I don't know why I actually failed that. I should have done, but I definitely made up for it this week. Made sure there was no failures this week. Now I'm getting into my stride. Training's getting a lot better now. So last week I finished on 42 kilos. So I've increased the weight a little bit. 44.5 kilos, 98 pounds, 10 reps. And this was so much better. This was hard. I did feel it straight away, but I was determined that I was going to get 10. I knew I was going to get 10, and I did get 10. So a little bit of payback for last week's failure. Just got, with little exercises like these that work the triceps, you just got to increase the weight slowly, because even a little bit of too much might not end well for you. Finishing up with the Concept 2 weighing machine for conditioning. So last week I just did 2 kilometres, and just wanted to see how long that would take me, and I did it in 7 minutes 57. So this week, the plan this week was to do 4 sets of 500 metres and try to do each individual set in under 2 minutes. So I've only filmed this first set at the moment, 500 metres. And yeah, just trying to do it in under 2 minutes basically. I have to do all 4 sets in under 2 minutes. If I can do that, then next week it will still be 4 sets of 500 metres, but I will have to do all 4 in under 1 minute 55. So I'm basically giving myself 5 seconds less to do all 4 sets. And if I'm successful with that, then the following week after that, it'll be the same again, 4 sets of 500 metres, but I will only give myself 1 minute 50 to do it. So every week I'll be shaving off 5 seconds. When I stall on it, that's when I will go back and do 2 kilometres again and retest my time, and hopefully I should be able to do it I should be able to beat my 7 minute 57 second time. Okay, so yeah, this is the first set of 500. We're at 450 metres now, 50 metres to go, and as you can see, I'm definitely going to make it in under 2 minutes. 480, 485, 490, 485, 500, and there we are, 151. Okay, so there's the scores. I've only filmed that first set, but my 4 sets of 500 metres. So set number 1, as you can see, was 1 minute 51 seconds. Set number 2 was 1 minute 57. Set 3, 1 minute 58. And the fourth and final set, 1 minute 53. So I managed to do all 4 sets in under 2 minutes. So next week I'm going to do this same protocol again, but I'm only going to give myself 1 minute and 55 seconds to do all 4. And if I'm successful, then I'll shave off another 5 seconds the following week. Okay, so there we are. This is the end of day 3. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got this far and you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel if you want to follow in my training. And I'll see you soon for the next training session, which will be legs.